gonna give you guys a second to get logged on. I was having trouble getting to the internet there for a minute, so hopefully the connection stays stable and we can do our live without a hitch. I am going in. Kara, thanks for the like. And anybody that might like to share this video, sharing is caring. So feel free to like and share. Here we go. So say hello if you're out there, because then I can see that the comments are working, and that will help me get moving right along. I was looking for the projects that I did, because after the live last week, I had 4 or 5 projects that I finished just on that ink pad deal. And I finished them up. Oh, Lucille said hi. Thank you, Lucille. So now I can see that the comments are coming through. And I had 5 new people join my group last week, so I have some letters to get in the mail to thank them. But if you haven't seen it, the deal from last week was, and it's still going on until the end of the month, that when you sign up to be a demonstrator, with your demonstrator, so if I'm not your demonstrator, well, then go sign up with your demonstrator, still the best deal in the book. You still pick $125 in product, whatever you want, and it won't let you go over. And they charge you $99, and it's free shipping. You do have to pay tax in the state that you live in, but it's not too bad. $99 plus tax, free shipping, best deal ever. You pick out $125, plus you get 10 free ink pads. So that was the thing that I focused on last week. And yeah, we had 5 new people join the Stampers with Heart group. So we've been getting to know each other, and we have a team meeting on Sunday night. One of the projects that we're going to be doing is around here somewhere. It's a purple card. Fig. And I'm going to show you, today I'm going to show you some cutting tips for designer paper, because as you probably already know, designer paper is on sale, buy 3 get 1 free in selected styles. So at the end, I have a project that I want to share with you that just kind of came out of the midair last night as we were being silly in class, right, Lucille? Talking about the wish, talking about just the ish in wish. So we'll go over that in a few minutes. But before I do that, I was thinking that we could potentially get acquainted with cutting for designer series paper. I love the Promenade petals. I'm not usually flowery, but there's something about like the fact that they took pictures of live flowers and then pieced them together and then made them so that they match our designer series paper. So now when I pair this up with the fig, there's no guessing. So one of the things about Stampin' Up! Papers is when you have no idea, this was the tip of the week back Wednesday, when you have no idea what colors to use, well, there's a guide on the back of the paper. So I always keep the backing, even if I buy 4 or 5 packs, and I've been known to do that, I will separate so that I have all the same kind together, like all this pattern together. So I know if I have 5 sheets or 8 sheets or however many sheets. And then I take one backing from each side and I put it on either side in my bin. So that whenever I pick up the Promenade paper, I can tell you that it has Blushing Bride, Fresh Fig, Grapefruit Grove, Highland Heather, Mossy Meadow, Petal Pink, wow, Sahara Sand, Smoky Slate, Tranquil Tide, Vanilla, and Whisper White. Whew, that's a lot. I'm going to tell you, I have another little secret. When a designer paper has that many colors, holy smokes. And I go to make a project, I pick 2 colors. So this one has Fig, and I like that pink that's the in color too. And then there's the new green, and then there's white, and it's even a little too much. Like, I think 2 colors and a neutral works great in any project, and I like simple. I'm a very simple person. So sometimes like some of the brighter papers overwhelm me, and that's why I like to cut my paper smaller. So there are three basic measurements that I always go to when I'm cutting designer paper. So the first one cuts the paper at 4 and then 3, and we'll do each of them. And when you cut it 4 by 3, you get 12 pieces of 4 by 3 from one sheet of paper. Makes it easy to layer. We'll talk about it in a minute. The other way is when you get, so you got 12 like that. The other way I like to layer my paper is in a quarter sheet, which means we would cut the paper like this one, so this background paper, at 4 and then at 5 1/4, and from a piece of paper you would get 6 like that. Another go-to lately is cutting it either 3 by 3 or 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. If you cut it 3 by 3 or 2 3/4, you'll have like a little strip left over. You would get 16 out of one piece of paper. So if you're doing something like making card swaps and you want to make, you buy one pack of paper and you cut it 3 by 3 or 2 3/4 square, imagine you get 32 Christmas cards out of one pack of paper. You have 2 designs. And then because all of the patterned paper matches the stuff that's here, well, you pick another pattern and all of those colors, the 2 colors that you pick to go with your neutral, still go with. So we're set up to match. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but before I did Stampin' Up, I worked at AC Moore and I would make their displays, and my daughter's picture was all over the AC Moore in Salem, New Hampshire. I would also teach stamping classes there, and I would go pick a stamp and go for designer paper just like I did with Stampin' Up. But then I get to the ink and I couldn't find ink to match the paper or even cardstock to match the designer paper. And so that's why Stampin' Up does such a good job, and we have like the whole coordination thing down. So, any questions so far? We got blah, blah, blah so far, but I'm going to just flip my camera and we can get to work so I can show you what I'm talking about. All right, here we go. Don't get dizzy. Here we go. I'm going to flip you onto the clip. That wasn't too bad. I'm getting kind of good at this, except for the one week that the whole camera flipped. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the stand and we'll bring in the paper cutter. And I'm actually going to move the whole table. I still have you on chat, so if you want to chat. Okay, so first we're going to imagine that we cut our paper to 3 by 3, right? So what are some samples that you could have that would be 3 by 3? Well, this is 3 by 3, and then the navy blue is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So all I did was put a sentiment here. You could put a circle punch, you could put anything, but this is a great layout, and this is the same layout as the one behind it, except I flipped it. So if you look at it, this is 2, I think this is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and this came out of a 6 by 6 designer series paper pack. Really pretty, and it's one of the ones that's on sale this week. But that's not really why what I really wanted to show you was 3 by 4. So we're going to cut it 4 inches, and I would do this for the whole paper, so this would be in 12 pieces. So we'll cut it at 4, and then the Stampin' Up cutter is pretty awesome because you don't even need to pull out the arm to cut it at 6 and then 3. So I do that a lot when I'm cutting for classes. I cut backwards so that I can not have to take my paper out of the paper cutter and then reline it back up. So these pieces are 4 by 3, and boy, they layer great. Let me show you that. So this is just 8 1/2 by 11. And you cut the 8 1/2 by 11 down the middle at 4 1/4. And then you can go 3 1/4 6 times for one sheet. So if you're getting 12 pieces out of one sheet, you get 6. So you'd need 2 sheets of cardstock, and then you have a whole bunch of mats that look like this. So that's pretty cool. So that's one way to layer. But for this card, we did a different measurement. So let me show you. This is a pocket card, and we've already cut this cardstock down the middle at 4 1/4. Now, if I was making a whole bunch of them, like I did for the meeting on Sunday, I would actually do my scoring ahead of time. And the scoring blade is just at the other end. We're going to score at 5 1/2 because that's the halfway mark to 11, and that's what makes our card fold in half. So I always fold, do you see the side with the hump? I don't know if you see it. This is the side with the divot. I always fold towards the hump. So if there's any stuff that gets caught up in there, it gets captured so nobody sees it. Okay, which means if this is the side with the divot, on this side I'm going to score on the back at 1 1/2. It's weird that that stuff bugs me, but it does. So now I'm going to fold it in half, and now the side with the hump that's sticking up is towards me, and I can fold this down like that. Okay? So it just so happens that this piece of 4 by 3, hi Kathy, also fits at the bottom of this paper. So I can just stick this on. Oh gosh, all I have on the table is my leftovers. You can use snail adhesive, but I just happen to have fast fuse on the table. I'm trying to use it up. Okay. So that's the first thing I did to make my pocket, was I had my 4 by 3 at the bottom, so it's one way to use that layer. Now, remember we talked in the beginning on the back side, we were going to do the 6 pieces. So we're going to cut again at 4, and I'll come back to my cutting. So if you were to cut out of a full sheet, you'd get 6 of these from one sheet. 4 by 5 1/4 layers perfectly onto our card front. But this is going to be the back of the pocket. So we'll flip it over, and this is the same pattern that we're working with, but just the back side. I love that it just coordinates like that. And we'll flip it over. Not too shabby, huh? So then to finish this one up, I'll slide it out. All I did was tie a ribbon around, add a stamped image, a few rhinestones, and a little card that you can pull out. So this card is ready to go, and it's just a pocket. My daughter said, "Mom, is that a regular card? It opens kind of weird," and it does. It's a good weird though. So that's one way to do the 4 by 3 and the quarter sheet. Now, if this were a card, we could run a ribbon and add a punch or an embellishment, and we'd be almost there. So it works great as a background, and I like the not so busy images if you're going to use a bigger section. When you're using stuff that's really busy, I like to use a smaller piece, and that's where this other layout comes together. Isn't that funny? Okay, so like this one is really busy, and I just used a 1 1/2 inch strip on the edge to tie back into the flowers, but I left a lot of open space that wasn't designer paper to give your eye a chance to kind of take all that in, because that's a lot of pattern there. Okay, so that's a few projects. That was like, what, 3 or 4 so far? But I have one from last night, and Lucille, if you're still here, you can giggle that I made it, that I couldn't let it go. Let's see. So this week's class was the Broadway Bound class. And here, let me grab them. These were some of the cards in the class. This was one of them. You're never too old to make a wish. And my daughter cut out a whole bunch of these wishes. In fact, she did 36 for the packets twice. She did it for 2 different cards. But I thought it was so funny that the W is completely separate from the rest of the word, and it made me start to think about my birthday last week and how I am 40-ish. So then I started cutting some paper, And I cut out a happy birthday. I need scissors. Hang on. Anything can happen during a live. Silly goof. Okay, so happy birthday. Here we go. Oh, my computer shut off. I'll have to catch up with your comments after. But so I am going to finish off that Y. I don't want the birthday part. I just want happy. And I'm going to finish off that. Let's see if we're still connected. Oh, look, we are. Okay, and then I'm going to round that out like the other one. Hopefully it looks okay. Yeah. Okay, so there's my happy. Hi, Holly. Thanks for stopping in today. Okay, so there's my happy. And I was messing around with it. So I thought, okay, happy-ish. Well, I am happy-ish. Happy for... Okay, and then I did fussy cut the 4 before we got here. And then I said, oh gosh, there's got to be a better way. And look what I found. The 1-inch punch will cut out this circle perfectly. As long as I line it up and talk at the same time. I'm not very good at multitasking. Let's see. Bam. Okay. So, happy 40-ish. And then I had this piece laying around, so it did have, like, it was already pre-embossed, but whatever. We're going to use it as a layer on our card. Now, this measurement is 3 by 4 for the white, so this is just like the one we just cut, and then this is 4 1/4 by 3 1/4, so I was able to get 6 from one sheet of cardstock. 40-ish! Yay! See, I knew you were going to laugh at that. And then I cut another sheet of paper, just like we did earlier, 4 by 5 1/2 to layer on a card front. And then we can layer it on a card front. So this was like from the original card front. It's 11 by 4 1/4, scored it at 5 1/2. And then I couldn't leave well enough alone, and so I decided that instead of just happy, because happy 40-ish is kind of depressing a little bit. I don't know why, but we'll just say celebrate 40-ish. And last night during class, Lucille can tell you, I lost my my dots, and now I have found a whole bucket of them, so I can celebrate my 40-ish. Oh, I don't know if I like that. Well, I will definitely finish off this card and post it later because I think it's hysterical, and I think a little ribbon is in order. What do you guys think? Or maybe I should do it right now, huh? All right, so let me pull down here. Thought it was kind of fun. I hate covering up all those candles. They're so cute. We were talking last night that this paper would also lend itself to Christmas really well. So I'm just going to stick this down and we'll tie a quick bow. I bet this will go together really fast. How do you tie your bows? Some people do bunny ears. I am a loop, swoop, and pull kind of girl. So I get my cardstock, my ribbon kind of flat. And then just give it a tie. Like that. And people ask me all the time, Celine, how'd you get that bow so small? Well, nobody ties big bows, although I do like big bows. Tone Loc is playing in my head currently. I like big bows, and I cannot lie. I'm a goof. Oh, okay, time to get these sharpened. Here we go. Okay, so we'll slide the black up under and get it kind of there. And then I got all my little pieces here. They're gonna go flying. Oh my goodness, this is so darn cute. And this thing moves, so we can adjust. Okay, so for all these like word pieces, it's going to be way easier to use some liquid glue. And I find that people struggle with liquid glue if they use too much. So the trick to the liquid glue is a little bit'll do ya. Let's see if I can get some to come out. Oh, look at that, it's still right at the top. The other thing I like to do is I leave it laying flat on the table, because if I stand it up, all the glue flows to one side and then this forms a crust. And then good luck getting it out, you need a pin. So there's my ish. So it could be wish, I guess, but I like my 40-ish way better. This one's kind of big, so I'll just add regular adhesive to that. Come on, get down there. Only when you're alive. You're like, okay, move it along, Celine. Here we go. 4. We could even overlap a little, that's fun. And the same thing with this big thing. I'm only gonna put like dots on the C and on the end, like big areas. And I don't wanna make it so thick. I'm gonna go this way. Make it so thick that you can clump it down, because then once you put it on your paper and you push, it would, I like it kind of crooked. Totally. Imperfect, like me. So cool. So celebrate 40-ish. That's my mantra for this year. Oh, too funny. So if you guys don't have any questions, I will buzz off for today. We had that same paper, cut 4x3. It's a common element that I use on a lot of cards. And then I still did the larger quarter sheets. It layers up quick. I like a lot of layers in my cards, and designer paper makes it very easy. Thanks for stopping by today, and I hope you have an awesome weekend, and I will be posting these samples later on. Bye, guys.